Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Wong is Right with Mike on Movies Podcast.
Hey.
So today we're going to go scorched earth on a movie. It's called Sucker Punch. It is an action fantasy directed by, and I use this term loosely about director, it's Zack Snyder. It's directed by Zack Snyder, and it stars Emily Browning, Oscar Isaac, and a whole bunch of other talented actors. But yeah, stay tuned. Welcome back, everyone. So, like I said earlier, this episode is different from the previous episodes. This one, we're not actually recommending the movie. We're telling you to stay far away from it. I mean, here's the thing. This movie, Sucker Punch, for some reason, it has a fan base. It does.
Yeah, and if you're a fan, I hope we hurt your feelings.
If you're watching this episode and you're a fan of Sucker Punch, yeah.
You're part of the Snyder cult. I hope we hurt your feelings a little bit. Just a little bit.
You know what? Don't take yourself too seriously, right? It's just, it's our opinion.
Yeah, take me seriously so I can hurt your feelings.
Take Mike seriously so he can make you cry. But, this is our opinion but before we get into it, how you been though, Mike? What's going on? What's going on with you?
Not too bad. I think by this time this episode releases, it'll be my birthday.
Well, there you go. Well, happy early birthday or happy birthday since they'll be listening to it on your birthday.
Yeah, it sucks that I'm working.
Wow, what a great birthday present from yourself.
We got to do Sucker Punch and I have to work on my birthday?
Yeah.
Oh, great. God. This is going to be a fucking slog.
Hey, usually shit rolls in threes. So you got two right there. You have to do Sucker Punch and you have to work on your birthday.
Dude, we just watched this movie. That's the third. Oh my God, Murphy's Law.
Oh yes, we did watch. We have to watch. Here's the thing about I like doing these kinds of. We wanted to do these kinds of movies because not all movies can be good. And some movies are bad. Just straight up, they're just not good. No matter how there's movies that are so bad that's good, but there are movies that are just straight up bad. And the shitty thing about doing these episodes, that's why we're only doing it once in a while, not all the time, is because we have to fucking watch this shit again. Because here's the thing, I didn't watch Sucker Punch for 8-9 years until just before recording this episode.
Bro, we just raw dogged it for 2 hours.
Oh my god, it was a slog. It was a slog to get through.
But I've never watched a movie with such terrible pacing.
Here's the thing, I didn't even remember most of the movie. I'm like, what happens here again? What happened? That's how forgettable this movie is in my mind. Because didn't you say that it lives rent free in your mind?
Yeah, it lives rent free in my mind. I'm like, okay, so Sucker Punch is what's the best way I could describe it? Best analogy.
I have an analogy. You want to hear my analogy of Sucker Punch? All right, for me, this is my analogy of Sucker Punch. Sucker Punch is what would happen if you took the script from Inception and took a massive shit on it. And then you began to wipe your ass with said script after you took a dump on it.
That's hilarious.
That's literally what this movie is. It reminded me of Inception, but with shit stains all over it.
Yeah, I would say if Alice in Wonderland was turned live action and the director stole a bunch of shit from other movies and then you turn it into an anime and then you turn that anime into live action and put machine guns, this is the fucking movie.
This movie is all over the place. I can't even, because I said action fantasy, but I don't remember. I had trouble pinpointing the genre of this. So what is this? Is this
I was like, it's a waste of time.
Because my God, I could have, and then we just settled on it's an action fantasy.
Let's just go. You can't say drama. Yeah, it wasn't attached to anything. It didn't make me cry.
Yeah. Where can we begin with this movie? I'm going to begin with the usual synopsis, what it's about, who stars in it. Okay, so it's called Sucker Punch. It was released in 2011. It's directed by Zack Snyder, as I said. And if you know him, he's a director that I loved at the beginning when he started his career. And he's just slowly going through a career death.
Suicide.
Yeah, it's just slowly, all his movies just seem to gradually just be getting more and more unwatchable.
Yeah.
Right. In my opinion, right? That's what I think. But like Mike said, if there's some Snyder cult people listening to this,
I hope we
Mike hopes he hurts your feelings.
Not too bad when we get canceled off
just
our
a little
platform,
bit.
but you just look at yourself in the mirror and you're like, I hate myself.
But as we've always as we've always been saying at the beginning, all movies are subjective. So this is our take on Sucker Punch.
I'm glad we agree because I didn't really want to debate this movie.
Huh?
I'm glad we agree. We both don't like this.
Yeah. Oh my god. Here's the thing. Even if I did like it, I don't know how I could defend it.
Oh, it's like an onion, many layers.
Yeah, it's like
Shut the fuck up.
you're right. It's about onions. It makes you fucking cry when you look at it, not in a good
And
way.
onions fucking stink.
But yeah, so it's directed by Zack Snyder, and it's also written by Zack Snyder and Steve Shibuya. See, that's when you know it's not going to be a good movie, when Zack Snyder writes the movie. You know, because his previous 3, he never wrote them, and they were great.
Adaptation.
Yeah, he did Dawn of the Dead, the 2004 Dawn of the Dead. He did that one, which was great, which is an old IP from George A. Romero.
Yeah.
And then he directed 300, which was adapted from Frank Miller's graphic novel, which is great. Right, and then he did
Also a true story based off.
based on a true story.
Loosely
I'm
based.
sure it's very exaggerated. 300, just by watching that. Like,
Xerxes is 7'1". He's
yeah,
probably
and then had like a guy with a goat head in there and stuff. I'm like, I don't think those existed back then. And then the third one he did was Watchmen, which was adapted from Alan Moore's graphic
That's one
novel.
of my favorite movies. So
Yeah, it's a good movie. Like, I love the comic book. It's probably one of the best comic books ever written, or graphic novel ever written.
That's
And it
why
won.
to this day I say The Watchmen ended a lot better in the movie than in the graphic novel.
Yeah, but we'll do that movie one day. We'll get into that. But,
Another 3 hour.
yeah, 3. Well, if you do the Snyder cut, it's probably like 3.5, 5 hours. But
I don't think that should be a thing for directors. Directors should stop releasing. Well, Snyder should stop releasing.
he's the only one that does that.
It was a bad movie.
Yeah,
the director's cut was like a better movie.
The Snyder
It's
cut
still
one,
a
yeah.
pile of shit.
Yeah, it's like the Justice League. Yeah, the original. Yeah, it was horrible. Like,
Oh, we should mention that the Sucker Punch we saw was the extended
yes,
cut.
we did watch we did. Unfortunately, have to watch the extended cut too. It has 18 more minutes.
18 more minutes of shit.
We thought, like, you're thinking, oh, 18 minutes is not bad. Watch this movie and you'll know what we're talking about.
God, I felt like I was in a fever dream, man. I was like, man, I don't enjoy this and I want it to stop.
Okay, so you know what's funny? We've been talking for like 8 minutes here now, and all I've said is who's directed by. That's it.
That's okay.
We haven't even
Who
gone.
fucking really cares? I think if you're still listening, you just want to hear us talk shit at this point. Do you really care about the movie? Because I didn't.
Yeah. So it stars Emily Browning. I'm not sure if you know her, but she was in the TV show American Gods and The Affair, and she's also in the movie Legend with Tom Hardy. I'm not sure where he played the twin brothers.
The twins. Yeah.
And then she's also
Took me a minute.
she's also in a series of unfortunate events with Jim Carrey, the movie one.
Oh.
Not the Neil Patrick Harris
Not
one, the older one.
Gotcha.
So there's Emily Browning, Vanessa Hudgens.
High
isn't
School
it?
Musical
Yeah,
singer.
High School Musical song artist. Yeah,
I should say
musical
song artist and then...
And she's in the new Bad Boys, the Ride or Die one. Yeah,
That one hasn't released yet, right?
yeah, it's out. It's been out for a couple weeks now.
Damn.
And it also stars Abby Cornish. She's on the Jack Ryan TV show. It also stars Jenna Malone from the Hunger Games series and Neon Demon and that new Kevin Costner movie Horizon, an American Saga, the Western.
I think I've seen Neon Demon.
Yeah, and then it also stars Jamie Chung. If you know her, she's from Premium Rush, The Second Sin City, A Dame to Kill For, and Lovecraft Country, the TV show. And you see, but it's about me listing all these names. Like, there are a lot of talented people here. You got Carla Gugino too. Like, if you must know her if you watched all of those Mike Flanagan Netflix shows, like Haunting on Hill House,
Oh, yeah.
Midnight Mass, Haunting of Bly Manor.
I love that.
Yeah, Midnight Club, The Fall of the House of Usher. She's in all of them. So, and she's in all of his movies. Like, basically, Carla Gugino is like the Robert De Niro for Scorsese. Carla Gugino is that for Mike
Or
Flanagan.
Johnny Depp to
Tim Burton.
Tim Burton.
Yeah, basically she's in all of this, but she's in this too. And then you got Oscar Isaac. You know, at this point
He's wasted on this movie.
He is wasted.
Absolutely.
He does a good job.
wasted.
Like, he's a good actor. Like, he does a good job.
And this
Like,
is before he was famous
Yeah.
too, right? That could have been so bad because the reception to this movie was terrible, and he's lucky his career wasn't buried
yeah.
because of this movie.
And then John Hamm he does a small bit part in it. We all know John Hamm.
10 minutes.
Yeah. And then Scott Glenn, who's a legend. He's been doing movies since the 60s. Like he's in Backdraft, Silence of the Lambs. And you can go back to, he can look at his filmography. My God, he's been acting since the 60s.
Forever. Yeah.
And he's in it and he's wasted. I'm going to say right off the bat, like the actors try their best with what they're given. Mike probably disagrees on that. I'm trying to be nice. I'm trying to say something here. You gotta say. I'm trying to say some good parts of it.
I think like the production crew did a good job in terms of like graphics.
I guess the aesthetics. Yeah.
It's like if I have to say something nice, the aesthetics of the movie is gorgeous.
It still holds up.
Yeah, like we just watched it on Freddy's TV here. I should say, tried to watch it.
We watched it. We watched the whole thing. We can't do an honest review without having watched it again. Yeah. It has to be fresh, right?
And even if I watch it fresh, my memory sucks. So imagine just trying to remember this movie off memory. It would be worse.
Oh my God. Like, here's the thing. Those are the only good things we can say about this movie.
Yeah, the aesthetics.
And some of the acting, it's not bad for what they're given. I mean, the dialogue's horrible, but they try to make it work.
Yeah, I don't say the acting is good, but there's nothing that really stands out aside from Oscar Isaac's performance as Blue.
Yeah.
John Hamm says like 5 things. Like,
Actually,
you could have been anyone. Okay, I'm glad it was you, but you could have been any other actor.
Yeah, here, let me rephrase the actor part. Okay, I won't say they did a good job. I'm just saying with the script that they're given, they did their best. We'll just say that. Doesn't mean it's good acting or anything. They did their best with what they're given because it's all the writing, the script, and it's
I remember when we were listening to them talk to each other. I'm like, what is this?
Yeah. Well, I'm like, yeah, it makes no sense. Anyways, yeah, it makes no fucking sense.
Also, if you're one of those people who like the music score, the selection to this movie, you suck.
Let's not attack our listeners, Mike.
No, you're not a good person. You should feel bad.
Well, I agree with Mike on the music part because it seems like all of Zack Snyder's musical choices, they're either don't fit the tone,
or they're too direct,
or they're on the nose.
Yeah, I think my opinion changed because you said that. I never thought about it before because when I saw it in theater, I was like, yeah, the music is pretty good. And then you said it before we watched it. I'm like, oh yeah, it's like very on the nose.
Yeah, whatever they're going through, it's like, oh.
You know, when the first delusion comes in, it's like sweet dreams. I'm like, oh, fuck off.
Well, it's just like in Army of the Dead at the end when the guy breaks out of the vault, comes out of after they didn't drop the nuke, he comes out of the vault. Yeah, I'm spoiling Army of the Dead for you guys, by the way, because I don't give a fuck because that movie sucks too. But also the Zack Snyder movie. But he gets out of the thing and he's bitten by the zombie, remember? And then what song does he play? Zombie by Cranberries. And I'm just thinking to myself, you know the song's about anti-war, about these 2 kids that got killed by a military in Europe.
Snyder was taking it too literal.
Yeah, he took it literally, and it's just like, okay, but it's so on the nose. It's like, okay, yes, zombie, he's a zombie. What's in your head? Zombie. It's like, oh my God. But he does that with Sucker Punch. He does it with all his movies. It's either it doesn't fit the tone of the character or the scene, or it's just way too on the nose. Right. And this movie has that in spades.
So again, I didn't like the score, so literally the only thing I did like was what my eyes can see. Everything else, no bueno.
My God. Well, let's get into what the movie's about.
Oh God.
So the movie is about a young girl played by Emily Browning. Her name is Baby Doll. Yes, that is her actual name. It's listed in the credits. Her name is Baby Doll, and she is sent to an insane asylum by her abusive stepfather so that he can claim her mother's fortune because her mother just passed away. And then while she's there, she envisions herself and her fellow inmates within a fantasy world to cope with the abusive nature of the asylum. And they try to make their escape.
Freddie's waving his arms. I'm like, yep.
I'm like,
you know, you probably said it a lot better than how the movie like demonstrates it or illustrates it.
Yeah. Here, come here. This is what the movie tried to be about.
Yo, if people have never seen this movie and they went in blind and didn't hear that, they'd probably be just as confused. Because coming out of the theater, I was confused. I'm like, There's fucking 3 things going on in this movie, and it's kind of hard to follow.
Now, my reason for why I dislike this movie so much is because when I first saw the trailers for this, it looked really good.
Yeah.
It looked amazing. And it was Zack Snyder. He's still at the peak of his career. Like, he's kicking ass with his movies.
Anime nerds a hard on. You're like, dude, that looks fucking sick.
Yeah.
3 samurais.
Yeah,
all those
samurai.
guns.
And then girls, and the sexy
Nazi
girls,
zombies.
Kicking ass, which is awesome. And you got like all these like up and coming actresses. And yeah, it's every fanboy's like fantasy dream, right? It's like, wow, anime looking set pieces, and
Yeah.
it's like
Got my neck beard stiff, you know what I'm saying?
What?
My neck beard.
Oh, wow. Okay.
It's, if anyone knows the Fedora Milady meme, they would know.
Yeah, I don't grow beards. I can't grow beards, so that's
That's
lost to me.
Lost to you.
to me. But the reason why, and that's the reason why I was so hyped. I hyped myself up for this movie, and then I saw it in the theater opening day. I was very excited. I paid for it.
Oh, me too, dog.
Yeah.
Me too.
We watched it. This packed theater.
I think
then
it was in 3D, right? Was it not?
I don't remember.
I want to say it was in 3D. I can't remember.
It probably was because it was after Avatar. So after Avatar came, 3D was a big thing for like 5-6 years, and it's gone now again because it's just a fad.
Yeah, it's a waste.
Right. But I remember watching it, and then I was very confused. I was like, what am I watching right now? Because none of this makes sense. This whole story doesn't make sense. It's all style over substance. That's all it is. And then I thought to myself, so I got out underwhelmed. I was just like, this very disappointing, right? But then the DVD Blu-ray came out, and I'm like, you know what? Maybe it was just me. Like, I'm like, maybe I just having a bad day that day, or I was stressed out, I was checked out, whatever. Maybe the movie isn't as bad as I thought it was. So I literally bought the Steelbook edition.
Yeah,
so it's even more. So Zack Snyder, if you ever listen to this, I still supported this shit movie of yours. Okay, so
he tricked us.
You're welcome.
He used our goodwill.
Yeah, and that's why it's called Sucker Punch, I think, because it's a sucker punch to the fans. Sucker punch to the dick.
Took your money.
Yeah, but then I bought it and I watched it again. I'm like, nope. My initial critique of this was correct for me. It's still boring, and I fell asleep watching it, and like I don't think I've ever fallen asleep to a movie that has that much action in it. Like like all that noise and explosions.
Oh, dude. I checked out after, I think, in the theater after the second Dance Delusion. That's what I'm going to call him, Dance Delusion.
Right.
I was like, what the fuck is going on? Why are there fucking dragons?
Oh my god. Like, here's the thing. Like, we're not going to do our normal, like, breaking down the whole movie. We're just going to jump everywhere and just talk about why we... Okay, Mike, you start first. So... What's the main what don't you like about this movie mainly?
Where do I start? Dialogue's a big one. Dialogue is like super, I don't know, it's like, again, like the music on the nose. Let me show you around. We're here in a brothel. We gotta make the boys feel good.
The exposition dump in this, every line of dialogue is an exposition dump. Like, yeah, you're right. Oh my god.
Oh, did you come here to lose your virginity? I was like, okay.
And it's just like what? Yeah, there's like some crappy lines in this movie. Like, welcome to the brothel. Like, yeah, we know it's a brothel. We can see. She can see it. It's a brothel, or
well, not really a brothel.
Insane asylum.
The burlesque. We were
but Zack Snyder in the commentary calls it a brothel.
Oh yeah,
so it's a brothel.
That's correct.
Based on the director's vision.
To me, it was more like
a burlesque mixed with a brothel,
like theater that happened to sell their performers, right?
Yeah.
So I was like, that's always weird. Also,
because that line you said. So the priest brought you here from the orphanage to lose your virginity, right? Oh, let me rephrase that. To sell it. It's like,
and then he's also, I think Blue says something on the lines like, "Oh, the high roller is gonna come in 5 days to pick flowers." I'm like, bro, like how many times you gotta throw that in her face?
Yeah, it's all just ironic because this is an action movie, yet all the dialogue is done through the story is told through dialogue. And the action makes no sense. The action's just there, and it's just like, what?
So there's the dialogue. I think that's one. The layers of this movie. So if you guys haven't watched it, there's 3 layers to this movie. There's what's actually happening, where baby doll or protagonist is in a insane asylum, about to be lobotomized, right? And her time there. And then the second layer is her first delusion, where they're in the brothel and, they have to do dances for the males here in the movie. And then the third layer is her delusion while she's dancing. So that's where you get the action scenes, the 4 action pieces.
The fantasy action scenes, yeah. And that's why I said...
My God, like, if you're not in tune, if you haven't checked out and you're not in tune, you're gonna miss all this. What the hell is going on?
Yeah, and
that's a big one. And then the third thing that fucking bothers me is the action pieces actually make the movie feel so much longer.
Right? Like it's so, I cannot believe how these action pieces, they look so nice. They're choreographed. It looks good. The choreography is nice.
Like the zombie World War One thing, sick.
But I'm bored.
Yeah.
You know why? Because I'll just say it now. Because the characters, there's no stake in it because it's in her mind, and they can't die.
Right.
In that thing because it's all in her head.
Right.
That's why I said this movie is trying to be Inception.
Also, like, do you remember when I timed that last action piece?
Yeah.
Like 9 minutes and 37 seconds.
Yeah.
Wow, that felt like 20 minutes. Also, that 9 minutes and 37 seconds we sat through drove nothing forward. No. Nothing. If you cut those parts out, let's say all those 4 pieces are about 10 minutes each, 40 minutes, like you'd probably have a little more cohesive movie.
Yeah, it probably would, because those action set pieces do not belong in this movie. But that's what drove people to watch it, for those action pieces. But in the story, it makes no sense, and that's why people didn't like it.
Oh man, the best way to sum up Sucker Punch is like a long ass music video where a girl has problems.
Yeah, well, I think, like if you try to look at the theme of this movie, it's about women empowerment. It for sure is, and
I didn't get that at all.
I mean that's what he's trying to go for.
Yeah, I understand.
Right, but
I think he swung and missed.
Yeah, like men, because this place. Oh, we should mention this does take place in the 60s or 50s, so this is at the time when like women were not, the equal rights were not there at all. It's still.
Yeah. The thumb rule, if anyone knows. And
and that's why she gets checked into the asylum, even though she's not crazy, because back then...
Can we actually talk about that?
Yes, remember the first scene?
Yeah.
Oh, my God. You can get started.
Okay, so
it's the worst.
How it starts up is essentially her mother passes away.
And the mother leaves all her fortune to the daughters.
Yeah, and then the stepfather is angry and is about to sexually abuse her. And she locks herself in her room, and instead of going for her, she goes, the stepfather goes for the little sister.
It's a very dark scene.
Yeah.
Very
all
serious.
Shot in slow-mo.
Yeah, all in slow-mo.
All in slow-mo, so...
Which made no purpose, because he just wanted to stylize it. He wants to stylize this dark scene. And I'm like, why? This is a horrible scene. This is like...
You gotta stylize it like Bruce Wayne's parents dying in the back of the theater.
Yeah. But it's like, if you're going to do a scene this dark, this serious and horrible, why are you stylizing it? You don't want it to look good. You want it to look horrible. You want to be on the side of... the main character.
The slow-mo ruins the atmosphere.
And the way he sets it up, it ruins it. And then what happens? She grabs the gun, right? Grabs the gun.
Shoots twice. Unfortunately, one hits her sister.
Yeah, she accidentally shoots her sister from behind because it misses him. And then she dies.
Yeah.
And you're like, like I said, dark scene. You're like, oh my God, it goes from like assault.
A little kid dies on.
It goes from assault to like, mom just died, assault. This little sister just got shot by her older sister trying to kill the stepfather because he's about to abuse them. I'm just like, holy shit, this all happens in like 3 minutes of the movie, and you're trying to make this look cool?
No, it's not 3 minutes. It's like, it's like 20 minutes.
No, let me rephrase that. If you took out the slow-mo, it would have been 3 minutes. Right? But the slow-mo, it's like 20 fucking minutes. And Yeah, talk about like the end of that, like the ending of the resolution of that scene. Like in real life, what would happen in real life? Even in the 60s, what would happen in that situation?
Father phones. Okay, so it sets up. Father phones the police to frame her, and then
no, but set up what would happen in real life first. If that
well, father phones the police, or fucking pick up the gun and shoot him again. And if he got away, he had like, dead to her rights, and she dropped the gun. I was like, what was the point in that?
You shot her twice. You shot him twice. You missed, and then you dropped the gun after. Like you already tried to shoot him twice.
It wasn't even that. It was shot the gun twice. Realized what she did. Held the sister in the arms. He fucks off on the phone. She comes back holding the gun to his head. And she's like, just drops the gun and runs away. I'm like, what the hell?
I'm just like,
you are already committed to shooting him. Just shoot him.
He just made you kill your little sister. Right? He's about to abuse you both. And he's a stepfather piece of shit. And he's like, and you don't shoot him after that point? You drop the gun after you tried to shoot him twice?
Right?
It made no sense to the character. To her character, it's just like, oh my god.
So if we're starting from there at the phone call, cops would come, arrest the fuck out of her because she is portrayed as a younger woman, but she's actually 20 fucking years old.
She's 20 years old in the movie. And the cops would investigate the scene. The stepfather would probably say, "Oh, she tried to shoot me, but she shot her sister."
Then she went crazy because the mother died. Whatever. However he wants to spin
But then
it.
they would also question her. And go, what happened? He's like, well, he was about to sexually assault my little sister and me. And I grabbed the gun and I tried to defend us. But I shot my sister. By accident. I tried to shoot him. Whatever. But so there would be an investigation, like you said. And they would arrest her. Obviously. Exactly. And then they would bring them both in for questioning.
And then court happens there. Jail.
Might do a psych eval on her to see if she's actually crazy or not. And maybe not back then. I don't know. In the 60s, if they just brought him into the asylum. I'm not sure how. I know back in like the 1800s and like way back then, you can just this person's crazy, bring him straight there. But even in the 60s, I think if a little girl got shot and killed, there would be an investigation. Right. It would be dragged on. There'd be court. There'd be all that stuff. And then like. But what happens in the movie, Mike?
The father drives her to the asylum
himself after he got shot.
I was like, what the fuck, dog?
On the same day.
She's still in the pajamas and shit. I was like, what the fuck?
It's like, not even the cops will take her to the asylum?
like orderlies or the warden of the asylum, the head director, whatever. Like some doctor. No, it's the father. And
this is just, ladies and gentlemen, this is just the opening scene I'm talking about. We're like trashing this movie. It's 2 hours long. You can imagine what the rest of this train wreck is going to be. But how, in what world does that happen? Right? Officer, I got my stepdaughter tried to shoot me. I got shot in the arm.
It was by accident.
But you know what?
Let me take her here to get some help. Don't worry about it.
I'm fine.
We'll be fine.
She's just crazy. And the cops are going to be, okay.
Yeah, sure.
Sure, no problem.
No escort, no nothing.
Oh, and by the way, there's a dead girl upstairs.
Right.
And you don't need to investigate that.
It's by accident. It's by accident.
Fine. Oh, okay. These are all and then take
when
her.
We were watching that movie, I'm like, why did the father drive her? Like, I didn't notice that much first time. Like, I was like, what the hell's going on in this movie?
It's just, I don't know. When I saw that, I was just like, what the hell? Already right there, the plot, the story's already failed.
Yeah, within those 20 minutes, within that 15 minutes or whatever, you just like,
I've already lost. I've already lost it's already lost me. I'm just like, this makes no sense.
And then
I have no sympathy for any of this right now.
The funniest part is when the stepfather's talking to Blue about selling her for $2,000. I'm like, you're just gonna talk in front of it by the orderlies, right in front of doctor there. Yeah. It's like you're right in front of everyone. Yeah, like you're not even gonna
this big exposition dump.
Yeah, you're not even gonna like go to the office or like the washroom.
Oh yeah, or like maybe you can just do it by action where you see the stepfather sliding him $2,000. Yeah, and he just pockets it, and then you see the abuse going.
Well, the blackmail from Blue was the $2,000 because they agreed to less or whatever. I was like, just in front of all these people in the theater. Just gonna talk about extortion.
Oh, and not in the theater, in the asylum. They weren't in the theater.
Yeah, the theater part of the asylum.
Oh yeah, the the main room, I guess, the common room, right? Yeah. So there's that. For me, I had a big issue is with the names.
Oh yeah,
And like because
Blondie, brunette.
I still don't understand the naming, why he named them this way, because I still, to me, don't know if that's the names that they give her or they have actual real names. Because literally, the main character's name is Baby Doll, and then the other girls in it, they're named Sweet Pea,
Rocket,
Amber, and Blondie.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, okay, is this like what? Why? What's the point of these names?
I'm thinking,
is he trying to be like anime? And
in terms of the names, I don't know. In terms of how they got their names on the head, because just literally, if you're taking it for literal value, it was the psychiatrist who introduced everyone's names, right? Sweet Pea, take a rest. Baby Doll, it's your turn, right? Mm-hmm. She gave everyone names, and since it's part of the delusion, we can assume that it's Baby Doll's
alias.
From someone else. You made a good point earlier. Just like she probably doesn't know anyone. That's why there's these aliases, right?
Yeah, because that's another thing I didn't like about this. There's no build up to the story. Like
there's zero character development.
Yeah, that's why you don't care about the characters.
Zero.
And because she goes to the asylum and it just cuts right to her going into the fantasy, the brothel, and then the fantasy world. But there's no like her meeting the other girls. There's no her, her life in the asylum. Like they show it maybe for like 2 minutes. Or cleaning toilets.
Apparently she's been there for a week.
Yeah, she's been there for a week, but you don't know that. It doesn't really. Zack Snyder doesn't really show that. We have to figure this out on our own.
Right.
He's not planting this for us. He doesn't even have like a graphic that says 1 week later or 5 weeks later. Does it show that?
Nope.
No, it doesn't show that.
No.
Because usually people put that in there showing like how long they've been there.
Yeah, we were talking earlier, like most good movies that do this, if we're going to do the puzzle piece analogy, the movie will put the borders of the puzzles together for you, and then you fit in the middle. You have some restraints, some guides for your theories, your fan theories, or how you'd think the movie would end, or what was going on in the movie. This movie is like, oh fuck, we have to make the puzzle pieces and then place them together. Holy shit!
You have like you said, you have to create them. And you have to figure it out, but you don't know if that's what Zack Snyder intended anyway, because I don't think he knew what the fuck he's doing.
I think he just took smart movies to a literal. Smart movies make you think, and he took it the literal definition.
Well, I remember in the commentary, Zack Snyder said the reason why he named her Baby Doll is because she's supposed to represent innocence, and that she's
and then
the doll
realize
part.
That
and
he's
then
an idiot.
Yeah, and then the doll part is like, oh, she looks like a porcelain doll. She's very fragile and she's innocent. And I'm like, you know what? We could have
super lame. By the way,
we could have gotten that without the name.
You could have
just by looking at her.
Called her Angel.
Yeah.
Look at that! Look at that!
You can call her Hope. You can call her anything, Grace, whatever you want to call her. But I'm just like, you're not. If you're trying to be poetic.
You could have called it Navia, heaven backwards.
You can, like, it doesn't matter about the name. Like, that's so on the nose and so stupid. I'm just like.
So what about the other people? Why is the other person called Rocket?
Yeah, why is she called Rocket? I don't know. He didn't know. He didn't say. He was just talking about.
I know. I'm just saying, like, if you're gonna talk about one name, talk about the rest.
She's a shitty thing too. Like, I had to watch this movie. We watched this movie together, just the extended version. And last night, I wanted to watch the commentary, but I couldn't get through it because I already knew I was going to watch this again. And I'm like, so I watched like half of the movie in commentary, and I'm just like, I can't do this because it just, I couldn't, because I knew I had to watch it again.
I could barely watch it.
Yeah,
a third time. I think I've seen this movie 3 times. Once in the theater, and then when the extended cut came out. But in between those, I've also searched up, because again, it lives rent free in my mind. Watching other people's theories just to get some semblance of not being angry after watching this movie.
You're still angry even with the fan theories when you try to figure it out.
And then the third is at your place. Yeah. And I don't think I'll ever watch this again. Yeah. I wouldn't even have this in the background while I clean my house. Like, no. Fuck this movie.
This movie's been sitting in my shelf since I bought it. And I've only pulled it out for us to watch it.
and it's because you're Asian, you don't throw it away.
yeah, right. It's a hoarder of DVDs. And let's talk about like the fantasy scenes now.
Oh, the theories.
Well, just talk about how they don't make sense first. Like let's go to the first. If we must, no, I just not as in the whole. I'm not talking about each one. I just mean in the whole, those fantasy set pieces of why they just don't work. Because, like Mike said, it's layers, like Inception, but it makes no sense with the layers. At least with Inception, it made sense what they're doing. There's a machine that puts them in the dream world. Blah blah blah. There's different layers. They can go deeper and deeper into the dream, but there's consequences.
Yeah.
Right. If they get killed in the dream, they wake up. But since they are sedated, if they get shot in the dream and killed, they go to limbo and they're stuck for years in their mind.
Yeah.
Right. Sucker Punch. She imagines herself in the brothel. Oh, here's the thing. She's in an insane asylum in reality. So before she gets lobotomized, right? She escapes her dream world because apparently she's recounting what happened at her time in the asylum, in the fantasy motif, the brothel and the fantasy world. In what world, if someone's wants to escape something and fantasize about something, who's in an insane asylum, why the fuck would a woman fantasize about being in a brothel?
She could have fantasized being anywhere.
Your mind can go anywhere. And you go into a brothel?
And we were talking about this, like, how does she know what, like, an inside of a brothel is? You know what I mean?
Yeah, because this is in her head. Yeah. So I was like, and I'm thinking to myself, I think Zack Snyder just did it just to make them look sexy.
Right. To always be, like, wearing the unitards.
Yeah. The burlesque outfits. And then you get into the fantasy, which is like steampunk and schoolgirl outfits and all that. But then, and then there's that third layer where they go into the fantasy. Yeah. Where she's going more into coping or escaping. And I'm thinking, this makes they don't connect. The three worlds do not connect in any way.
Right. I mean, we were looking at it and we're trying to like dig in and like, what do those samurai stand for? Yeah. What does the gun in the gun in the katana stand for? Right.
No idea.
Well, to protect herself, because this is obviously the delusion of her finding something to ground her, right?
Yeah, to ground her from
the actual abuse.
From the abuse she's receiving from the asylum, from the order, from Oscar Isaac.
Yeah, and the orderly. Well, I think it's orderlies and Oscar Isaac.
Yeah, I think the orderlies. Yeah,
the orderlies were physical abuse. Oscar Isaac's obviously sexual abuse. Yeah.
Right,
and the mental abuse.
Yeah, mental abuse and just using them, like getting money off of them too. Yeah, but. Like I said, I'm like, in what world does that happen?
Do you remember when you saw that dragon scene? Like, is the dragon the mayor? Yeah, well, he's like, why is there two?
Like, if he's trying to be symbolic with what's going on in the insane asylum brothel to the fantasy, it doesn't work. Because I'm like, why are there samurai here?
Yeah, and before you diehard fans, you're like, well, that doesn't matter. So blah, blah, blah. It does matter. It does, because in the cook scene with the knife, she's doing her fantasy while she's dancing. As we know, these fantasies come up every time she's dancing.
Should we talk about why they're going to these fantasy worlds first? The MacGuffins and the objects?
The MacGuffins, but we're trying to find symbolism in these fantasies, because we have to connect why the two delusions, I call them delusions, probably the two fantasies together. Yeah. Because that cook scene, I mean, the water touching the radio wire, exposed wire, breaks the fantasy, right? Mm-hmm. So why wouldn't you allocate, this dragon is the mayor, or this is the cook, this is this.
They have to flow.
Else it's just wasted.
Yeah. Well, it's just like I'm going to use Inception as an example.
Because I feel like he stole stuff from it.
Because like even in Inception, when he in the beginning when he gets pushed into that bathtub, all that water came in his dream. It makes sense because it's water. It's enveloping him, and he wakes up. Right. Makes sense because you're connecting the dream to the reality of
when they're in that car crash and the rooms start flipping and the gravity gets all fucked up, right?
Yeah, and it's the van.
And you realize in slow-mo, like the car crash.
Great scene. Yeah. That hallway scene with Joseph Gordon-Levitt and he's fighting those security guards, fucking groundbreaking. that makes sense because it allows the audience to connect. Okay, this makes sense. The van in reality.
Why this is happening?
So they're the real world. They're on a plane.
Yeah.
Then they're in a van. The van flips, so the hallway flips. But then if you're deep in the dream, you don't feel those effects.
Right.
Only the next layer does. They explain all that. Makes sense. Sucker Punch is like, okay, we have this asylum. She's in an asylum. Okay, now she's in the brothel. Why? I don't know. Oh, and now we're in the samurai scene now. Why? I don't know.
Who are these three samurai? I don't know.
The whole movie I'm watching, I'm like, why is this happening?
Who's the wise man? I don't know.
Yeah, and then there's
that
the wise
one
man.
was crazy.
Played by Scott Glenn. And yeah,
wasted talent.
He just comes in. He's like, here's your sword, here's your gun. You have to find 5 objects to escape. One is a map, fire, knife, and the key. And then the 5th is a mystery.
Yeah, surprise.
Ooh, what's the twist going to be on that? Right, but yeah. So you got these MacGuffins, and each time they're trying to get each item right, Baby Doll has to distract the orderlies to do it. So she does it because in the movie, Baby Doll is such a good dancer that she just like she's,
in her first delusion.
Yeah,
she's a good dancer.
So she is like Baby Doll is like the favorite of everyone. So everyone's all eyes are on Baby Doll in the asylum or in the brothel. Yeah. Right. So she uses the distraction to get the other girls to do the heist. It's like a heist
stuff. Yeah.
To steal the stuff.
To do the setup to the heist.
Yeah. And this is what doesn't make sense because some of those heists, she's doing the distraction, but in the fantasy world, she's fighting with them.
Yeah, and getting the last
and
part.
Getting the object. I'm like, you're dancing in the fantasy world.
Right.
You're dancing in the brothel right now, yet you're fighting alongside them to get the MacGuffins or the items. And it's like, that's why I can't connect.
Right.
That's why I'm lost.
Snyder should have, like, what was the first one? The map? You obviously see Sweet Pea go and say, hey, Baby Doll's gonna dance. She goes into the office, grabs the map. Yeah. The fantasy should have been her.
Just Sweet Pea.
Well, it doesn't even have to be just Sweet Pea. It should have been like whatever. If they want Baby Doll to have an influential part, fight off the horde of zombies while Sweet Pea gets the fucking map.
Yeah, maybe she's distracting. all the zombies go, and then she's
or do that last chase. The last chase where the guy's on the fucking balloon and she shoots it. Like have Sweet Pea do it.
Yeah, because she's the one who's getting the item.
Like why the fuck are you getting the glory? Yeah, that's my delusion.
But then, as an audience member, you don't connect that.
Yeah, right.
And that's why I get bored. That's why I got bored because I'm like, I don't understand what's going on. Not because I'm dumb or I didn't, quote unquote, you don't understand this movie. It's got layers, like you said. I'm like, no, he did not do a good job conveying the message.
I think the second one is what I have a big problem with. The second fantasy.
Which one was that one again?
The dragon.
Oh, the dragon, yeah.
Because like we don't get to see what's happening in the. Okay, so sorry. Let me run this back. Let me run this back. The real world is the asylum. The delusion world is the brothel. We'll call that delusion 1 is the brothel. Yeah. And delusion 2 is the fantasy action scene. So in the second action piece with the dragon, I think it was Blondie and Amber are in serious danger. But we don't get to see what's happening in
the brothel.
And we don't get to see what's happening in the real world. Yeah. So the part when they finished, it's like, oh, it's too dangerous, we're out, blah, blah, blah. And then fucking Blondie, like, snitches. Like, there's no wait. You just suddenly, you see her crying she gets caught. In the fucking dance room, and then she gets caught. You're just like, you should have shown, like, the reality of what the fuck was happening there. Because, like, all we see is, like, they're in an airplane. She has a fucking LMG shooting out of the airplane, and this dragon is chasing them. You're like, okay.
Yeah, it's like a Lord of the Rings with guns. Yeah, and because, like we go back to Inception, Nolan always cut back to each world to show what was going on, except for the plane, because you don't need to go to the plane because they're just asleep on the plane. Yeah. Or you don't need that. But he cut back to each dream world to show what's happening to each character in the dream.
Right.
This one, like you said, during those action pieces, they never cut back to the brothel or the asylum, because it'd be cool to see Sweet Pea trying to go through the hallways, sneaking through, go through orderlies, and then it should like mix in with the fantasy world,
right? Like I wanted to know, because in that scene before the action scene, like Amber is sitting on the lap of the mayor, who's an orderly. AC is his name.
Yeah.
Sitting on the orderly's lap, or the mayor's lap, and the mayor's lighting up the cigar.
Yeah.
With that shitty music.
Yeah, because they need to steal the lighter from him.
Yeah.
The fire.
So I wanted to see, like, what was that danger where they almost got caught?
Yeah, because if Zack Snyder cut to each world, I mean, good. Even in the asylum, how did she get it in the real world? The lighter.
Yeah.
Did Amber distract? Because the mayor is actually the gatekeeper or the guard of the gate.
Yeah.
So did she, like, sit on his lap?
Yeah.
In the real world?
That's what I'm saying.
Because she did it in the brothel, and it's just it shows nothing, and it's just you have to
the
you have to create the puzzle pieces again.
Is with the cook when the wire shorts on, the music stops playing.
Yeah.
But even then, you're like, why are there fucking 4 of you around this cook?
Yeah.
Why is it taking 4 of you
to get a knife?
To get a knife. And even at that part, like, see, the cook already stabbed one of them. He's already pissed off. Why didn't he just keep stabbing the rest of them? They're all just watching.
Yeah, no, because they have to make that dramatic scene where she's dying.
Yeah, I was just like,
I'm like, the cook's still there.
If the cook has,
and here's or
if he can't control his temper, right? If the cook has the inability to control his temper, which is obviously showcased, he's gonna stab one of the girls.
Rocket.
Why would he stop stabbing them just because Sweet Pea's holding Rocket?
Yeah.
I'm like, well, fuck you.
Maybe not stab them, but he would restrain them or call for help or get people in there. He does nothing. There was 4 other women there. Why didn't they attack him?
Yeah.
And with knives. There's other knives in that place. And just stabbed him.
It's a fucking kitchen. Throw a piece of turkey at his head. Like, whatever.
Hit him with a slab of meat, like right to the face. I don't know.
Get a roller or whatever.
Yeah, but they have to stop that whole scene just for to have that moment where Rocket dies in Sweet Pea's arms. Yeah. But it held no weight because I didn't care.
And it's switching between the 2 delusions. Yeah. I'm like, oh my God, that's so jarring.
Yeah, it didn't work.
And then, like, the music, it, like, starts working again, and it's like, and then she's back on the plane watching the train explode. I'm like, what was, like, we already saw her die. Like, what was the point in that?
Yeah, like, I think if they had just done the movie with just one of those set pieces, either it'd be just like from the asylum to the fantasy world, or the asylum to the brothel, and just left those 2, and have those parallels, I think it would have been better. Yeah, as opposed to doing 3.
Yeah, I agree. I think throw the fantasy away.
Yeah.
And maybe have it start with just the brothel, and then as the movie progresses, sprinkle in more and more and more of what's happening in reality.
Yeah. And also get to know the characters more at the beginning and know their backstory, because you don't know why they're in the asylum either, the other girls, so you have no sympathy for them. You don't know their backstory. Why? Maybe they killed someone because they are crazy and they got sent there. You don't know. You know nothing about these girls, and you're supposed to feel for them, but you don't, because you have no idea why they're there or what their struggle is, or what all is we want to escape this asylum because it's a bad place.
Yeah.
But that's not enough to care about them.
That's why I was saying when we were talking about this earlier, Freddie disagrees with me, but I said that this movie thematically is ahead of its time. But as Freddie mentioned, it's style over substance. So really dark themes are covered up by eye candy, which then is covered up by the fantasy aspect. It all gets lost. All becomes muddled. Yeah. Ugh, brutal.
Because this movie does have those same themes that today, like, modern movies have now. The whole
modern movies, right?
Yeah, like men are horrible. Men are disgusting, because all men are evil. Like in this movie, all men are evil, except for the wise man.
Yeah.
That's it. Every other male in this movie is
and John Hamm's character, which is just like a regular doctor.
But he does the lobotomy and stuff. But he doesn't have a prominent role, but basically most of the males are horrible people.
Yeah.
And, I'm not saying that, it is horrible. I'm sure that shit did happen in those asylums back in the day. Like, let's not
play with that.
Let's not play with it. But I just mean, we get it. And then it's supposed to be a woman. Remember we just said empowerment for women. Right. And then you're like, I didn't get that. But I'm thinking it's trying to be.
Honestly, I do get it. I understand the underlying tones. We can talk about conspiracies where, the dancing in terms of the distracting the orderlies is actually sexual abuse. And the actual fantasies is to cope with what's happening to her live during the sexual abuse. I understand it all. The problem is, like, I don't want to watch this movie a bunch of times to understand it all.
Yeah, but with that theory, though, if she's doing that to cope with the abuse, but when Zack Snyder did this movie, it played out that this is happening right before the lobotomy.
Yeah.
So all that fantasy wasn't during her time there. This is all happening her
Yeah, but you got to remember the end. Since we watched I can't remember if it's in the original, but in the director's cut, they say 5 years, right? Or sorry, she's been here for 1 week, and then they do like that camera pan, and you see the burnt.
You see all that
stuff. You see the orderly watching the gate. They mentioned 3 girls died, helping one of the girls escape. So it all happened within those.
Yeah, but
that week.
I just mean the setup of that. It didn't make sense.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't make sense.
If Zack Snyder cut that part out at the beginning where she's about to get lobotomized, it would have worked.
Yeah.
But they did it right where they cut to the fantasy right when she's about to get lobotomized. So,
Like,
wouldn't that mean that she's thinking about it at that present moment? But if they cut that out and then they just showed like this is what's happening to her throughout that whole week, and then at the end of the movie they throw her on the chair and they lobotomize her.
yeah, rather
That
than like a
would've
flash.
worked.
Yeah. They should have put a.
If they didn't put that stupid scene of her about to get lobotomized right at the beginning, and it looked like it wasn't even a week. It looked like she's only been there for like an hour, and they're just taking her straight to the lobotomy care.
They just changed her clothes just to lobotomize her.
Yeah, it's like, whoa, what the hell? Like, who does that?
He missed good opportunities to add suspense. Like, they should have pulled. If anyone's familiar with the game Arkham Knight, when Batman's being pulled to Scarecrow and he's all tied up, and you're like, oh shit, is Scarecrow gonna win?
Yeah.
Like, maybe have a panning shot of them like following her tied down on a stretcher to the lobotomy room, and then go like day one. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But yeah,
and then just build up the suspense. Is she gonna get lobotomized, or like, is she gonna get free? Is this part of the plan?
Yeah, because at the beginning they could just set up like, oh, if you misbehave or do anything in the asylum, they will lobotomize you. Like, set that up, so like, oh, that's foreshadowing. But if Zack Snyder just took that scene out at the beginning where you don't see the lobotomy about to happen, then you could see this is what she's been going through that whole week.
Yeah.
The fantasy,
and if you guys haven't seen this movie, the lobotomizing scene happens probably within the first 30 minutes. And it's the last scene it ends on. So, like, we're not spoiling anything. She gets fucking lobotomized.
But you didn't notice I haven't like said here's a spoiler-free zone, here's the spoiler zone, because I don't care with this episode. This is different because I'm like, what we're saying is probably not going to make you want to watch the movie anyway.
No.
But if you do want to watch it, yeah, it's...
If it makes you guys feel any better, Oscar Isaac's character forges the psychiatrist's signature for lobotomy, and after Baby Doll gets lobotomized, Blue tries to sexually assault her again and realizes it's no longer fun because there's no emotion, and then he gets sad angry, and then that's the writing of the movie.
Did you say to make you feel better? That doesn't make me feel better. That just makes me feel worse. Like, that's
I should have said it. If it makes you feel better that you're not gonna watch this movie or you're gonna skip this movie, I should have said that. But fuck this movie, man.
Well, it's just that scene.
My brain's all muddled.
Like, you don't even know that whole relationship with her in there, because if you saw that in the real world, that he's like, trying to own her and make her,
where he's like, these are my girls,
his girls and stuff like that, and like, at least he gets his comeuppance at the end. He gets what he deserves. Piece of shit. Like, he plays a good piece of shit in this movie. He plays a good douchebag. But
Oscar Isaac plays a lot of good douchebags.
He's just a good driver. Yeah, he's just a good actor. If you can play all those roles. But that whole ending scene with the lobotomy, and it's just all over the place. This movie does not hold up story wise. For me, you have to have a somewhat coherent story for me to like it.
Can we talk about the wise man?
Yeah, like, who is he?
Yeah.
He's who he is? He's a bus driver.
That's at a bus station.
At a bus station. That's not even part of the asylum.
Baby Doll would have never seen.
Baby Doll never met him.
Never. Ever.
But at the end, he's the bus driver. And
I had the impression when I was watching it that he picked her up in front of the asylum, and that's how she escaped.
But even then, how would Baby Doll?
But then when you see the scene, they're literally at a bus station with multiple buses.
like a terminal. Yeah. But how either way, even if he was a bus driver at the asylum, Zack Snyder doesn't show that Baby Doll meets this guy.
Oh god, it would have been so much better if you see little details, like if the wise man was a famous actor and she sees him on the fucking cafeteria TV,
or maybe it was maybe it's her teacher at school.
Yeah,
like her mentor. Like you don't know who these people are; they're just there, and it's like, why did you make him the bus driver at the end?
Right.
You could just made he could have been anybody, because Baby Doll never met the bus driver, and it's so fucking stupid. It is. I cannot believe why people. I don't understand how people like this movie. Well, I guess I understand, because some people do
good-looking women in skimpy clothes.
Yeah, and just something to turn your brain off to. But even then,
bro, I turned my brain off, and I still didn't want to watch this movie.
Yeah, because I don't understand, because people try to make sense of it.
And that's something, because we joke around that I'm brain dead. So.
Yeah, we do. And like I did say before, like, if you like what you like, you can dislike what you dislike. So like I said, if you like this movie, kudos to you. Awesome. I would love to hear why you like this movie in the comments. Like, we would love to know why you like this movie.
Yeah, but right? Freddie, some people are just wrong. They can like what they like, but they're wrong.
I just mean, I don't fault you for it. I don't think you're, if you want to come back at us saying that we're the ones that are wrong, come on. I'm not saying that. Well, Wong is right. So with Mike,
at this time, I'd rather be fucking right than happy. Oh my god. Fuck this movie, man. I know.
Oh, I gotta say this, because I remember we listened to the commentary yesterday. Zack Snyder says in the commentary, because they were shooting the first shoot of the brothel scene, and then Zack Snyder comments that say, "Yeah, I wanted to shoot these scenes because I thought it'd be cool to see a day in the life of a brothel." Like, he says, "Cool." And I'm thinking to myself, you think it's cool to see what would happen in the day in the life of a brothel? How cool can it be? It's horrible. Now, in my thing, I think he mistaken brothel for burlesque.
Yeah,
because
I've never been to either.
I've seen burlesque shows. They're very different. They're just on stage. They're performers. Right. They're in those like what kind of those outfits
the
from
peacock suits?
Yeah, and all that stuff. The high stockings, and they dance.
I'm only drawing from
the can dance. Yeah. Dun, 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 dun. All those different shows, different entertainment acts. It's not just scantily clad women. There's like jugglers. It's a variety show.
That makes sense.
Almost, but with like it's very sexual. It's very erotic. But a brothel is literally a place you go to pay for sex.
Right.
So when Zack Snyder said, "Yeah, I thought it'd be cool to see the day in the life of a brothel," I'm like, I don't think it means what you think it means. Like Princess Bride. Yeah. That word you kept saying. I don't think it means what you think it means.
The meme. Oh boy.
So I think that's
I feel literally ill talking about this movie. After watching it and then talking about it, I feel ill. Like, I feel I have a fever.
No, man.
Jesus Christ.
But yeah, and it ends with John, because I always talk about the high roller, but it ends with John Hamm is the high roller, but he's the lobotomy doctor.
Can we talk about that last scene?
Yeah,
before the lobotomy. Oh, dude, what a weird scene.
With John Hamm?
That's where the dialogue really sticks out. Like, you're like, man, this is bad fucking writing.
Yeah.
I want you to give yourself to me so I can free you from happiness.
You look at me. Yeah.
Feelings. Something else. I can't remember what he says, but I'll free you from it. Guilt. Anger. I'll free you from sadness.
Like, Jesus. Yeah. And this lasts for 3 fucking minutes of him talking like this.
God.
He talks in, what do you call it? Attempted poetry?
It's so bad.
Makes no sense. And I'm glad they cut it out of the, because it's not in the theatrical, it's in the extended. Yeah. And I can see why they cut it, because my God, I felt like, you know, those cartoons when you see the people like have been up for like 10 days and their eyes are just like red veins in the eye. That's what I felt like watching that scene. I was like, oh my God, what the fuck is this?
It's not even cringy. It's just bad fucking writing.
Makes no sense. I check out.
Right.
It's the checkout. And I'm like,
oh, by the way, when he's like, I'll free you from this, that, that's not like one or two things he says. He literally sits on the bed and keeps repeating it as they get closer for a kiss until she's fully flat on the bed and he's still fucking repeating it.
Yeah.
I was like,
and he started kissing and stuff, and then it cuts to ding, the fucking lobotomy needle going right through
the hammer.
And the hammer. I'm
Jesus.
like, my God. You cut from that to that. I'm like, Jesus. And it's so... Oh, and then, what was the fifth item? Oh, yeah, it's her. She's the fifth.
Yeah. The sacrifice.
Baby doll. She's the sacrifice. You have to sacrifice all... Because all the girls die in this movie, except for Sweet Pea. I would love to have seen how they died in the real world, too. You only see them die in the asylum, in the brothel.
Yeah.
You don't see it in the real world.
Yeah, the gunshots.
Yeah, and that's in... Yeah, it's like, what? Did Blue shoot them in the real world? I doubt it.
Oh, the gunshots and the knife stabbing. Yeah.
Like, I don't understand that baby doll stabbed him.
Yeah, that's actually a very good point. I didn't even think about that.
How did they die?
Yeah.
In real... Because he get...
Remember that foreshadowing that I was talking about?
Yeah.
Like,
Well, Sweet Pea.
3 girls tried to escape and they all died.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, that foreshadowing. Oh my God.
Yeah.
3 girls die.
Yeah.
1 gets lobotomized, 1 escapes.
But
5.
I'm like, how did they die in real life? Because
Yeah.
they got shot in the brothel, and I'm like thinking,
Which is weird because like at the end, the orderlies were like, I don't want to abuse the girls. So like, what happened there?
Yeah, that's why it just lost me. I'm so lost in this movie, and it's not in a good way. It's not.
And you can tell that the people who are legit, who work there, the lobotomy doctor and the psychiatrist, are somewhat good people.
Well, because John Hamm's just doing his job.
Yeah, John Hamm's doing his job, and then the psychiatrist is shocked. It's like, what do you mean I
know
asked for this procedure?
Yeah.
It's like, that's your thing. And then she's the reason why they catch Blue in the act.
Yeah, because Blue forged her signature to lobotomize baby doll.
So, there's somewhat good people there.
Yeah.
So, again, how did they die?
But I don't understand how
They throw them in the...
Because you see the asylum at the beginning of the movie and at the end. That's it. Everything in between from that 2-hour slog of a movie is just the brothel and the fantasy world.
Yeah.
And I'm so disconnected from the characters because I know in my head I'm already thinking, okay, it's her fantasy. None of this is real.
Even
can't
her
die.
fantasy, her delusions in her fantasy are just weird. Like, when Sweet Pea, you brought this up when we were watching the movie, Sweet Pea and Rocket are talking like, tell our family whatever. I'm like, why is she fantasizing about 2 people who are sent to a brothel who want to escape to go back to their family? Like,
the insane asylum.
Like, did their family send them there?
Yeah,
I was like,
that's what I mean. It's like, I would love to know their backstory, how they got there.
Yeah, right.
Because I'm like, go back to your family. I'm like, well, then how did they get to the asylum? Did they check themselves in, or did someone else? Like, what? If it's not that her themselves, wasn't it the family that brought them into the asylum?
Yeah, right.
So why would they want them back?
Yeah, why would the delusion be that? Like, they want to go back to the family. It should have been just like, I just want to escape.
Yeah, I want to get out and live my life.
Yeah, fuck going back to my parents.
Yeah, because that's what I mean about the backstory. If they had said, I don't want to go back to my family, they put me here. And then, like, I just want to be free. Right. My whole life I've been blah, 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 blah. At least, they should, at the beginning of the movie, when she got to the asylum, they should have just got her to meet each character in the asylum and know their backstory in a way, and then baby doll finds out, oh, this place is abusive, this place is horrible, Oscar Isaac's a bad guy, and then they can go into the delusions.
Right.
Then at least now you have a foundation of what's going on and you can care about these people.
Also, Sweet Pea's probably my least favorite character of the girls.
Yeah,
I think Rocket is probably my favorite.
She had the most emotion.
Yeah.
Rocket had the most...
and she probably has the most dialogue.
Yeah, most dialogue. You know, a fact about her, the actress, Jenna Malone, she almost quit acting after this movie.
Yeah, because it was received so
badly, and she was so excited for this movie, and I felt bad for her, because I like Jenna Malone. I think she's a great actress. But I'm just like, damn, sorry for her, because... But I know the law, people are saying, like, if you don't like this movie, that means you're sexist, or you don't like woman empowerment, and I'm like, how's this movie...
you call me names, this movie still sucks.
No, but...
Stick and stone with rubber bones, but words will never help me.
But, no, I'm just...
You get offended over
I don't find this to be woman empowerment, because these are... they're getting abused.
No, this is like the opposite.
This is exploitation.
Yeah, this is the
objectifying.
director's fantasy that he's trying to guise it as women empowerment, which is not good.
Yeah. Well, like you said, you didn't get it. I'm saying I didn't get it either, but I know that's what they were trying to go for.
When I first saw this, I did so much like Reddit and YouTube search just so I didn't have to feel bad that I spent $15 watching this movie.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't know what else we can say about this movie. I mean, this is our first one. Let us know in the comments.
Wish movies could get recalled and we get money back.
Yeah, well, you did say they should remake. Someone said they should remake this movie.
Yeah, I think they should remake it because I think the thematic.
There are some great elements. Yes.
Yeah.
There's some great, like, if they gave it to like a competent director or a writer to write the script,
or if they even turned it to a Netflix series.
Yeah, like Netflix series. It can be. It has a lot of.
A little dark, so maybe HBO. But
yeah, well, Netflix can do it too.
Yeah.
Right, but there's a lot of elements in there to make a good story. There is.
Yeah.
And like you said, it should have been like each fantasy should have been in one girl that's trying to get that item, focused on those one girls, and Sweet Pea, and then Baby Doll's the one doing the fighting while the other was doing the heist.
Yeah.
Like any other heist movie.
Tonally has a great premise. The idea was great. The execution, not so much.
Yeah.
No bueno.
Yeah, that's why this is why I dislike this movie so much, because I was so excited for this movie. It looked really good, and at that time I was a big Zack Snyder fan. I was.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, Zack Snyder. This is
Sin
awesome.
City.
Absolutely, not Sin City.
300. 300. Sorry, I don't know why. It's probably because we were talking about it earlier.
Frank Miller. He wrote the comic books for both.
Yeah.
But this is why the movies I dislike the most are the ones that I have high expectations for, that look so good, but they disappoint. But this one looked to be amazing, and it did not deliver.
I saw Samurai and Nazi Zombies getting blown up in the trailer.
Yeah.
That's how you know, like, trailers can really make or break a movie.
Yeah.
I was so deceived. I was like, oh, dude, this is going to be a banger.
Yeah. Well, this movie cost $80 million, I think, to make.
Did it make money?
Worldwide, it made $89 million. So it's still a bomb, because I don't know if the $80 million was including their marketing budget. I don't think it was. I think that's just their production budget.
Yeah.
Because marketing, you probably have to double that.
Damn.
Probably like close to 120 million, 160 million in between there with marketing. So it bombed.
Especially with all that CGI.
Yeah, and well, that's why that Jenna Malone wanted to quit, because it did poorly. Because opening weekend, like studio. It did, yeah. Because there's the word of mouth. People was just like, no, don't watch it. It's not good. And
yeah, I went to. I think I saw it in. I don't know. It was Friday or Saturday evening. Went to school next day, and I'm like, yo, Sucker Punch, fucking sucks.
Yeah, it's a big mess. It's all over the place. There's no cohesion. It's just. It just jumps from one thing to the next. The characters don't make sense. Their motivations don't make sense, right? It's just Oscar Isaac's just evil for the sake of being evil. Right?
Someone on YouTube should upload the whole movie without the action set pieces, and then everyone can watch it. It'll be 40 minutes shorter, and probably I've been like, okay, now you can watch that version, the shortened cut.
The shortcut, yeah.
Yeah, the shortened cut.
And I think it would be like an hour and a half, maybe. No, probably less than that, an hour and 20.
Yeah.
Because each set piece was like 10 minutes.
I felt like it should have been just 90 minutes, man.
Yeah.
Like, holy fuck.
But I was, yeah. And like I said, I'm not slighting any of the actors or anything. They did the best they could. And they all have great careers now. It's not like this movie killed their careers. I think they're all still successful.
Luckily.
Yeah, luckily.
But
even Zack Snyder's still successful even after this thing. So it really doesn't matter. Luckily, I mean, even though this movie's bad, he still has his fans. He has
the cult.
Well, they call it the Snyder cult. Yeah, I do not recommend this movie. Like, out of 10, what would you give it?
No rating.
Look,
did not pass.
You gotta give it at least a 1.
Did not finish. DNF.
You finished it.
Dog. Well, it lives rent free in my mind. So, I'm going to give it a high rating than I would normally.
Just be honest. You don't have to give it a high rating. Just give it what you feel like it is.
1.5.
1.5, yeah. I give it a 2 out of 10.
Yeah.
Because it's
pretty close to the
only
rating,
thing I like about this movie is the the aesthetics.
Yeah,
It looks. Here's the thing: if you like movies that are like just looks good and you want to see stuff blowing up, like my dad does, where it just looks good, and you want to see beautiful women kicking ass, watch it. Absolutely. But if you are going in here thinking it's going to be a very good story that that's very empowering or very inspiring or any of that,
makes you're not going to get that.
Yeah,
you can
it's
see
not
the
that
political and social aspects. It's definitely
it's definitely not that. But go in if you just want to be entertained by just stuff blowing up and
dude, I would rather put my foot into a meat grinder.
Jesus.
And watch this movie again. Holy shit.
But let us know what you think. Let us know if you've seen this movie before and what your take is on it. Or if you haven't seen it and you do, let us know what you thought of it.
Or just hate us. Just dump on us.
Yeah, or don't dump on us.
Dump on us. Like, yeah, you're wrong. This movie's the greatest thing.
Yeah. Well, if you
sliced bread because this seed means this. Yeah, let us inform us why we were wrong.
Yeah. Have you have a rebuttal? We respect everyone's feedback.
And then I could reply to you saying you are still wrong.
But just give, if you do, like, I don't recommend this movie. I don't want you to waste your time on this movie. If you want, just look.
Actually, yeah, I would recommend it.
You would recommend it?
I would recommend it to you guys to recommend it to someone you don't like. Your parents pissed you off in the holidays? Hey, it's a good holiday movie, Mom and Dad?
Sucker Punch. Yeah, okay, I get that. Okay, there's that. But yeah,
your friend's pissing you off and they're not really a moviegoer. You're like, hey, you should watch this movie. I think you'd like it.
Yeah, exactly. Sucker Punch. I'm sorry, Zach. Not a good movie. I mean, I guess you tried. I think you should stop trying to make your movies look like music videos, because I know that's where you came from. But
yeah, this movie was a 2-hour music video.
That's what it is. All his movies are like that. The slow-mo thing. Like, when you look at the aesthetics of this, like, this will look good in a music video.
God, talking about this, I'm kind of nervous to rewatch The Watchmen.
Why?
Because hopefully I don't see stuff that we talked about in Sucker Punch, just start picking little pieces of The Watchmen.
Like I said, I do enjoy Watchmen. I don't think it's his best. It's not my... I give that... Like, we'll talk about it down the road if we ever want to do it. But anyway, I think we're done talking about this movie. I'm done. Like, my brain is, like, dead right now because we had to watch this thing. I had to watch a little bit of it last night, and then I had to take notes. I had to go deep dive on it. Me and Mike had to deep dive this. My brain's fried. But
yeah, for you listeners who liked me before this episode, I just would like to sign off as remember me from what I stood for and not what I became. Fuck this episode.
But oh man, this is what we believe it to be, and yeah, I do not think that. Like, on Rotten Tomatoes, it's like 20 or 13% critics or 22% critics, I think.
It was pretty high.
Yeah, it was like...
It was higher than I thought it would be.
Yeah, it was pretty bad. I was like, yeah, and then the audience was 47.
Yeah, that's super high.
That's high. I was shocked at that too, but I'm like, oh, well, they're both still rotten scores, but...
And wasn't IMDb the worst one?
Yeah, well, IMDb, the Metascore was like 39, which is still... it's in the red, but then high. You got, that's the critic scores. But on the audience score, it's like 6 point something.
That's really high.
And that's what I mean. Like I said, a lot of people like this movie.
It'd be funny if it's just the one person who reviewed it. 6.7.
I doubt that, but this movie, yeah, we're done. But thank you for tuning into this episode. I hope we didn't like sour your opinion on Sucker Punch. If you like absolutely love this movie, then we didn't ruin it for you. But if you haven't seen it, I would steer clear of this. Maybe watch one of the other movies we recommended earlier.
Just go on Netflix and put the thumbs down, and it hides it, so you never have to accidentally watch it.
Just watch the reviews on YouTube too. Like, there's a lot of people talking about this movie.
Your best bet is just to watch fan theories and not actually watch the movie, because the fan theories will make this movie sound cool. Actually, don't even do that, because you might actually just end up watching the movie.
Yeah, just steer clear of it. Okay, I mean, watch the other 3 Zack Snyder movies we recommended: 300, Dawn of the Dead, or Watchmen.
Yeah, don't forget to give us a like on Facebook. Follow us on Instagram. And remember, everyone, opinions are like assholes. Everyone has one.
Yeah.
Just some people are wrong. See you later.
And remember, this episode came out on Mike's birthday. So wish him a happy birthday. But yeah, tune into the next episode. Thank you so much for listening to Wong is Right on Movies podcast with Mike. We will see you on the next episode.
Ciao.
Oof. Well, you're screwed.
You guys ever seen this game? This game's fucking crazy.
I think if it's what I'm thinking it is.
You guys got me fucked up. This is the wrong game for Sucker Punch.
No, that means it's good for a sucker punch.